Welcome back to my channel. If you've ever picked up a 1986 Lincoln penny or a 1987 Lincoln penny, chances are you didn't give it much attention. To most people, these coins feel too modern and too common to matter. They show up in pocket change, coin jars, and bank rolls every day. But collectors understand that value doesn't always come from age alone. It often comes from condition, strike quality, and the small minting details that most people overlook. Let's start with the 1986 Lincoln penny. By this time, pennies were being struck primarily on zinc planchets with a thin copper coating. Millions were produced, and most examples entered circulation immediately. Because of that, heavily worn pieces are extremely common today. Lincoln's hair often appears flat, the lettering can look weak, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse usually lacks strong definition. That's why collectors focus on sharp, well-preserved examples. When examining a 1986 penny, look closely at Lincoln's hair above the ear, the cheekbone, and the jawline. Strong separation in these areas indicates a better strike. On the reverse, inspect the Lincoln Memorial carefully. Clear columns and defined steps matter. Coins with strong details, minimal contact marks, and original mint luster stand out immediately because they are far less common than worn circulation pieces. Errors are another reason collectors check 1986 pennies carefully. Look at the date and lettering for signs of doubling. If the numbers appear thicker than normal or slightly offset, that may indicate a doubled die. Die cracks can appear as raised lines running across the design, and die chips may show up as small blobs of metal where they shouldn't be. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other minting errors can add collector interest as well. Now let's move to the 1987 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it seems very similar, but the same rules apply. Most 1987 pennies were heavily circulated, which means clean, sharply struck examples are harder to find than people think. Collectors look for coins with strong strikes, smooth original surfaces, and minimal damage. When checking a 1987 penny, pay close attention to the clarity of the lettering around the rim. Examine Lincoln's facial features carefully. A well-struck coin will show sharp details in the hair and coat. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial should display strong architectural detail. Weakly struck examples are common, so strong ones stand out. Like 1986 pennies, 1987 pennies can also show minting errors. Doubling in the date or lettering, die cracks across the surface, and planchet flaws are things collectors watch for. Some coins may have striking issues that leave parts of the design weak or uneven. Comparing multiple examples side by side can help you spot differences more easily. One of the biggest mistakes people make with pennies from these years is cleaning them. Cleaning removes the original mint surface and can permanently reduce collector appeal. Even if a coin appears dull or dark, leaving it untouched is always the safer choice. Collectors value originality over shine. Lighting makes a huge difference when inspecting coins. Tilt the penny under a bright light and observe how the surface reflects. Use magnification if possible. Pay attention to the edges of the letters, the rims, and the fields of the coin. Many potentially collectible pennies are missed simply because people rush and don't examine them closely. Right now, 1986 and 1987 Lincoln pennies are still widely available, but high-quality examples are quietly being pulled from circulation by collectors and dealers. Once the best pieces enter collections, they rarely return to everyday use. Over time, that naturally reduces the supply of strong condition coins. Before you ignore another penny, slow down and check the date. Take a closer look at your 1986 and 1987 Lincoln cents. One small detail, a sharp strike, an unusual error, or a well-preserved surface could make a difference. Awareness is what separates ordinary change from collectible coins, and knowing what to look for puts you ahead of most people.